Hello everyone, welcome back. So we talked a lot about how our body has an automatic response system, and so today we're going to be talking about what's happening with our thought process. So when it comes to anxiety, we find that there are themes or patterns in our way of thinking, and we're just kind of going to go over seven of these categories and kind of go from what like anxiety thinking is. Well, let's put more importantly, you can have anxiety, because we always said anxiety is a feeling.
Yeah.
But if you have anxiety with these types of thoughts, rigid, global, catastrophizing, permanent, internal, and avoidant, if you have those type of patterns, this is where you can have unhealthy thinking. It can be harmful in your life. It can be really impactful.
Yeah. So, like what we're trying to cover with the presentation and what we've hopefully done so far is anxiety in the brain and your mind, anxiety in your body and your body's behavior, and now it's anxiety in your thoughts and which often lead to actions or So you want to go ahead and go through the patterns, and then as we break down the patterns, we're going to go through our end goal of what, just because you have one of these thought processes, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, and it doesn't mean that that's it. Like, you can have this thought process and you can still make changes. And
absolutely. So I like to kind of think of these like on a continuum. So it would kind of be like rigid, and rigid goes to flexible thinking. So you could lines anywhere is in between. So rigid, that is when we demand certainty. That's when we have to have things a certain way. Things have to be our way. Things have to happen at a certain time. It's just a very rigid, and you demand certainty in life. You want to know what's going to always happen next, and you want to make sure that you have control over what happens next. That is severe rigidity. Now, you can kind of go over a dot in the continuum. You can imagine over here on the other side of it is flexible.
Absolutely. So flexible is, again, like that transformation, that little change that you can make, where rather than viewing everything as all or nothing, you can view things as, okay, this is flexible, okay, I'm open, okay, this isn't the end of the world.
So for people with anxiety, it could mean I'm going to maybe change the bowl I eat from the cereal. I might change the routine that I have for bedtime, right? I might brush my teeth before I wash my face. You might do something, you might say, oh, I can be 5 minutes late. I don't need to have an A on every single report card. I don't need to be the star athlete all the time. It's like knowing that things are flexible.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it really is like the small things. Like I like how you said that, how those small changes can really change.
Absolutely.
Affect your whole process.
Right, and we're going to be talking a lot more of how to start making these changes. That's going to be in our next section of all our video series, so don't worry.
Good luck, you want to be flexible.
Yes.
Alright, so the next common
global
thought process.
So global is it really is that all or nothing. So it would be sort of like we were talking about, if you woke up in the morning and you always eat Cinnamon Life cereal. I happen to be one of my favorite cereals. So I'm eating my Cinnamon Life cereal. I wake up every single morning. That's my routine. I have Cinnamon Life cereal. And in my global thinking, if I have Cinnamon Life cereal, my rest of my day is going to go great. So what happens, I wake up in the morning and somebody already ate. My son ate my Cinnamon Life cereal on me. I don't have any. If I'm doing global thinking, I'm thinking the rest of my day is ruined. That's it.
Yep.
It's all ruined. Or something bad happens, you trip and fall in school.
Absolutely. Yep, you can't go to school for the rest of the year.
Right, everything's ruined, nobody likes me, it's the all or nothing, nothing ever is gonna come, everybody, it's those all words. Everybody.
Like globe, think of the globe, like everything is everything.
Everything. So, we want to change that to parts. Moments in time. So, you kind of have to say like, well, this moment wasn't good, because guess what? In life that does happen. Not everything comes up. You're not going to be happy all the time. Not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be certain. So you have to go, okay, that's just my moment that happened, but I have the rest of the 1,000 somewhat minutes of the day.
Absolutely. And that's the saying that kind of gets thrown around, oh, one day at a time.
Mhm.
But when you have that global thought processing style, one day at a time seems impossible. And
So it's really one moment at a time.
yes, exactly.
And sometimes if you're having one of those days, it's going to be like minute by minute.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take it. Because
Yep.
you never know what's going to happen on another minute.
No, for sure.
This word I have a horrible time pronouncing.
Catastrophic. That's a lot of letters.
So that is, everything is horrible. Nothing good is ever going to happen. Everything turns out bad. It's just no good.
Right. It's like the pessimistic of just the littlest thing can be, for this thought processing style, a big thing.
Absolutely. So what we want to turn into is problem solving, because guess what? There's going to be problems in life. There's going to be situations that we're going to need to figure out other solutions and possible. Remember, flexible thinking, right? Parts, and now we're talking about problem solving.
Right, so if you're, instead of viewing every single problem as a catastrophic event, you can view every problem as an opportunity to solve it.
I love that.
Alright,
Yes.
so next one.
Next one is permanent. So this is, everything is going to be always the same. So one of the examples I always love to use is, I am not good at math and I will never be good at math, and no one's ever going to be able to teach me math. So that doesn't really open the door to possibilities and options if I'm like thinking it's never going to happen, because that's permanent and nothing's ever going to change.
Absolutely. Right.
So we want to move from this permanent to temporary.
And I like how, as we talk about this, the theme kind of comes up where these are very similar, and it's that continuum of, okay, temporary and problem solving. Those are all moment by moment things.
Absolutely. Yes. And these are all things that people can learn and be taught, this type of thinking, and through practice, you can develop these skills to have this type of thought pattern. And guess what? You will still have moments of feeling anxious. That happens in life. You're going to have a whole range of emotions and feelings. But if you can have them with these types of thinking, that's what makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
And our last two over here is internally. You did a great way of explaining that.
So internally, I probably did a great job
Yes, you
because
did.
I am an internally thought process person. So everything is internal. You really kind of analyze everything inside of you. And to other people, I'm sure it might look selfish of, wow, they're really just thinking about themselves right now. But for an internal thinker, in moments of anxiety, they're saying, wow, if, I'm trying to think of an example. Like this morning, we had a presentation. Okay, if I stuttered during the presentation, I am going to internally analyze, wow, I just stuttered, wow, I can't speak, wow, I can't do this job. And for Diane, she might be like, okay, stop thinking about yourself. But it's not that, and there's ways to change it,
And we're going to change it to an external focus.
absolutely.
So we're sort of like, time to get out of your head. I always like to call it the runaway train, where you just have this thought process and you just keep going and going. Like you said, it builds upon each other. So what we want to do is the external focus. So sort of get yourself out of thinking that thought process of over and over, like, what did I do wrong? How can I do this differently? What can I do? You know, over analyzing, well, now they're going to think this of me. It's sort of like, stop, and we're going to focus on what's happening around us in the world and
Right.
say, well, wait a minute, if I did stutter, that actually can show people who have a stuttering problem
Mm-hmm.
that you can do, nothing can stop you, that you can continue doing those things, and you just keep pushing forward. And sometimes, and we'll talk about this, helping others and thinking
Yes.
about others can really help with our process here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and our very last one is avoidant, and that's sort of kind of, if you know the word avoidant, you know what that means.
Mhm. Right. It's
You avoid it, you don't deal with it, you ignore it. That's the procrastinator, like what we talked about in our automatic response, right? So this is the thought process that sort of goes along with it. I just don't want to deal with it.
Mhm.
And you
If
push
it,
away.
yep, if something comes up that gives you anxiety, like you said, the math.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like math?
Right.
Okay, just avoid it.
Yep.
I'm not doing my math homework.
Nope.
But if you have that thought process style
Mm-hmm.
throughout your entire life, what happens when it's a bigger issue?
Right.
Are you supposed to avoid it? No.
Mhm.
We want you to.
Be active.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we will be talking a lot about is actually one of the best ways to actually confront your anxiety is to move forward and do the things that makes you anxious and go through that with your anxiety. So it's not just about pushing the feeling of anxiety with you. It's sort of saying, I am anxious and I'm willing and I'm eager and I want to do this. It's not going to stop me.
Again, I think we're going to say 1,000 times.
Yes.
It's a continuum.
Mm-hmm.
So think of the continuum of the era.
Right.
Every person is on here in a different spot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not fixed.
Right.
So if you're here right now, you're not here forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can move.
Absolutely.
And there will be moments where you come back to these thought processing styles, but the point of this is being able to recognize these thought processing styles. So then, in those moments, you can be like, hey now.
Yes. Yes.
Like, there it is.
Right. And then you're going to say, I'm going to watch that video game.
Yeah.
Again, that they taught me how to deal with all of this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, that being said, that should wrap up our, you got the mind, you got the body, and you got your actions and thoughts.
Absolutely.
So, stay tuned for the rest of our videos, and thank you again for watching.
Thank you. See you later.